Picture this. You've been in a relationship for 3 years. You find a ring when you go visit your man. So you just know, like, he finna put a ring on it. We finna get married. But you go to New York because you're further south working. And when you meet him, he breaks up with you. Not only does he break up with you, you see on social media that the ring that you saw, he gave to somebody else. Emotional damage. So, because you now have emotional damage, you are wallowing in self pity and depression for at least a week. So, you have a best friend. Your best friend is driving by your house, seeing if anything is up, like sees your car, but realizes that you're home and was like, okay, she's still alive, whatever. I hear when I come, I hear the things at the door. I can see her. I see she's ordering food and shit like that. But I need to go check in with her. So what do? You hear the door, leave me alone. He like, nah. You've been down too long. Get up. It's time to get up. Plus, I need your help. So you've been friends with this guy since college. He is your ride or die. You are his ride or die. And he's like, I need your help. The person who I had that was writing this article for their family magazine has decided to up and skedaddle. And because they did that, they took the name of the article that they used to write with them. So because you are the editor in chief, I need you to take over this role. Now, you just got broken up with. You are in a funk. And this article that you're supposed to be writing is an advice column for people who are talking about love. What could go wrong? So you get drunk and you decide to answer one of the very first emails that you receive. Now, you answer it twice. You answer it in the correct response, which is about love and all these things, but you answer it again from that bitter place, that hurt place in your soul. And instead of sending the right email, which is the one about love and flowers and cotton candy, you send the other one. Now, because your best friend trusts you, he sends it to print. He comes to you the next day and is like, what the fuck is this? What is this? His grandfather, who owns the majority stake in this newspaper, calls him and was like, what are you doing? You are like, oh shit. And so you don't tell him the whole story about what happened to you. He just knows that you've been in the funk, a depression. So you're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. But here's the thing. As you're talking to him about writing this article, the person who wrote it, the person who actually wrote it comes in and is like, I just want to say thank y'all. My husband was cheating on me. And this person was like 9 months pregnant. So you look at each other like, maybe this can work. So even though you were the editor in chief, you now start to write this advice column to people who used to be or sending you messages about love, but now they're sending you messages to say, does this make sense in my relationship? Now, as I said, you and your best friend have been best friends since college. Every time you're around him, you get butterflies. Like you do these special sort of things with him. He kisses you on your forehead. He always, when he needs you, he can call on you and vice versa. You actually moved further south to be with him so you could help him take over his family's newspaper. Now, with that being said, you've never crossed the line. So you go to an event, he's telling you to go because he's like, you need to be around other women. You need to just, let your hair down and have a good time. If you do decide to get drunk, call me, I'll come pick you up. So you are there having a good time. You do get drunk, right? But you don't call him. You decide to drive, which I do not agree with, drinking and driving. You decide to drive to his house. When you get there, you fall off the porch, get a big knot in your head. You don't know what the fuck happened. So when you wake up, you guys talk. You talk about the things that have been going on with you. And then you talk about your feelings toward each other. After that, you guys do the do. And you're like, oh my God, did we just do this? And he's like, hell yeah, we just did this. He's been trying to do it for a minute. So what I love about this is that he was very intentional with his love for her. Big romance vibes. And I'm going to show you what happened. So this was right after they had sex a couple times. And she's talking to him about this confusion that she's feeling because when they met in college, he was very clear on this is a platonic relationship. Like nothing ever will come from this. So he says this. That's the thing. I did fall in love with you the moment I saw you, but mentally, okay, mentally, I knew I wasn't ready for that type of commitment, and I didn't want to hurt you or lose. I didn't want to hurt or lose you. So I made the decision to just keep it strictly platonic until I knew what it meant to really love somebody. This is what happened the day after they had sex for the first time. He sent her roses, and he knows that roses are her favorite flower. So he sent orange roses. He sent like three or four different bouquets, but then he sent these. And he says, these were sent to let you know that I am fascinated by your inner workings, desire to be in your warmth every second of the day, and I promise to love you loudly, enthusiastically, and boldly for as long as there is breath in my body. Love, your man. I adore this book. I thought it was so sweet, especially since I've been reading a lot of like fantasy stories, but just to have a book where it's just an everyday black couple, even though he got money, living their life. And I also love that this, even though I love the friends to lovers trope. I like this one because he was very intentional of like, I needed to know how to love you properly before I even stepped to you. Like there was no in between. We weren't going to try to do this. He wasn't trying to step to her before. It was, I needed to be very clear on what my intentions were to make sure that you knew that once we do this, it's for life, right? We doing 2020, like we doing 20 years or more, like it's for life. And I love that. And I love the support from his family and how they also shared in, there was a moment of drama, I'm not gonna lie, but they shared in their love and how he was 10 toes down for her, even when he had an issue with the patriarch of his family, right? He was still ride or die. And of course, with the drama that goes with that, there was still a way that he was still respectful to her feelings, and she got checked. She did. Her friends came and checked her. It was like, first of all, get your shit together. And I love that as well, that everyone wanted them to be together, but they also were holding her accountable for the things that she did and needed to own up to. So the ending was so sweet. Listen, if you want a beautiful love story for two black people who are just living and loving, I love this. Like just get it. It's on Kindle Unlimited. You can't go wrong with it. It was really nice, really sweet. I loved it. It gave me all the feels. I am a romance girly, and I absolutely love when I get these stories. So I hope, my hope is that this author goes into another book that talks about the guy's older brother, and that way we get to see his story, because he talked about him like a teensy bit. But I hope that within the brother story we get to see where they are, because I ain't gonna give it away, but yeah, I hope that we get to see where they are. But anyway, get this book. I loved it. It was so cute.